What's up, everybody? Welcome to lesson number 5 in my liquidity providing series. Today, we're going to be talking about routing. Yesterday, we talked a lot about the different metrics on a permanent loss, and routing is an important concept to layer on top of that because this is how money flows when an order is executed on a DEX, or really more specifically, a DEX aggregator. And really what routing is like I said, it's just the way that money flows when an order is executed so that you, the person executing the trade, gets the most bang for your buck, or you get the maximum amount of efficiency when executing your order when there are multiple liquidity pools. Now, if you remember, in the last video, I talked about how there are multiple liquidity pools for a specific token that can be with the same pair or even with different pairs. And what routing does is make sure it hits all of those different pools so that you, at the end of the day, maintain as much value as possible relative to the amount of liquidity exists with that specific pool. Let's dive in. All right. So like I said before, there can be multiple liquidity pools for a specific token. And these can exist across multiple DEXs. Now, before I get into that, let's see each of these DEXs. Say we have 4 different DEXs that have liquidity between HEX and USDC. DEX 1 has a low amount of liquidity. DEX 2 has a medium amount. DEX 3 also has a low amount, and DEX 4 has a lot. Now, if without routing, what you would want to do is go across all of the DEXs, all of the liquidity pools, and see which one has the most amount of liquidity so that you experience the least amount of slippage. And all slippage is the difference between what you were trying to get with your trade and what you actually got. So just because you put $1,000 in, $1,000 buy-in, doesn't necessarily mean you're getting $1,000. If there's low liquidity, you may only get $950 out, because there just isn't enough liquidity at that specific range to service all 1,000 of your dollars. The price is going up as you're buying, so much so that you're losing $50. And that $50 would be considered slippage in this specific example. So without routing, what you would need to do is you would need to take your HEX to the specific DEX that has the most liquidity and execute that swap there. Now, that's pretty hard, especially for a lot of users that don't really know what's going on or don't really understand all of these concepts. Maybe they haven't watched this liquidity providing series to understand that there are different pools, and then swapping on each DEX isn't the same. And so they might be going to DEX 1 or DEX 3 and getting a worse deal, when on DEX 4 or DEX 2, they could be getting a really, really good deal. Well, what routing does is it's going to send your coins across all of these pools to get the most amount of liquidity. So with routing, the best tool that you have is an aggregator. And what an aggregator does is it splits your order up across all of the DEXs that exist so that you get the best order execution. So your HEX tokens that you're selling go into the aggregator, and what it's going to do is it's going to split up that order across all the DEXs proportionally to the amount of liquidity that exists within each DEX. So first, it's going to take those coins, and the aggregator is going to take your HEX coins, and it's going to run as many as it can through DEX number 4 first, so that you get the most bang for your buck. Maybe say for $1,000, it's $800 goes to DEX 4, and you get that $800 of USDC out. Then it might take $100, put it through DEX 2, and then you'll get $100 out here, and then split that last $100 50-50 between DEX 3 and DEX 1. So that now, instead of all $1,000 going through DEX 4 and maybe only get $950 out, by splitting it across all 4 of these DEXs and hitting all of these LP pools, you'll probably get like $999 and maybe even the full $1,000 out from this single order. This is extremely important because it allows people to trade across all DEXs, and it allows them to get the best order execution so that you're not just losing money trading in and out of your coins. This is a really important concept when you're swapping coins yourself, because you want to be able to go to a DEX aggregator that hits as many pools as possible. Here on Pulse Chain, we have 2 really awesome DEX aggregators, Pitius and Omnis. And so the link for those 2 DEX aggregators will be in the description below for you to use. Make sure you bookmark those pages so that you can always go to them when doing your swap. So I would always go to a DEX aggregator first whenever you're trying to do a swap, especially with a larger amount of money that you have. And so this is just kind of another visual on exactly how routing works. And this is with like from stable to stable pair. So say you take 80 million of USDT, and standard router, you would take that USDT, swap it to ETH, and the ETH to USDC. But because you're only hitting one pool, this trade is losing 62.9% of its value. So you had 80 million, but now you only have 29.5 million. With a router, it splits up that USDT across as many pools as possible, so that at the end of the day, you're only, you're losing a lot here. You're losing $900,000, which is a big deal, but it's not as bad as losing, tens of millions of dollars over this initial route. So like when a routing is happening, it's just getting you better order execution. This example right here is from Pitius. And this is showing an active trade trying to swap PHEX over for USDC and all of the different pools that it's hitting. So it's taking 43% of this trade, going to all the different hex pulse pools that exist on PulseX v1, PHUX, and PulseX v2, doing those swaps and then swapping that pulse for USDC. Then it's hitting up another hex pulse pool, going through PulseX v1, PHUX, and 9inch. So these are probably a different fee tier in this example. Not a different. In this example, it's taking that pulse and then going to the USDT and then swapping the USDT for USDC on PHUX. And then this one is doing the same thing, but now it's going through the Coast pool over here on PHUX and then going through Coast USDC and then getting your USDC. So routing can be really complicated. It can be going through multiple pools, multiple DEXs all at once, but all this is happening so that you get the most bang for your buck whenever you're doing a swap. So make sure that you're going to a DEX aggregator when doing your swaps. And this is really important for when you're providing liquidity, because the more routing that occurs across DEXs, the higher percentage, there's a higher percentage chance that your pool that you're providing liquidity in is being hit. So more routing is better for liquidity providing because your pool is going to be used more often, which means you're earning more fees. Now, routing is a fairly simple concept, and that's why this video is over already. So that's lesson number 5 in our liquidity providing series, and that's routing. And all it means is that orders are being split up and hitting as many pools as possible so that the person executing the trade gets the most bang for their buck. They experience the less amount of slippage and there's more order efficiency. And for the liquidity provider, this is really great because if you're in a liquidity pool, maybe in a more exotic DEX and a more exotic pair, your pools can still be hit without the person doing the trade having to go specifically to your LP pool to execute their swap. So I hope you enjoyed that lesson. Don't forget, free 15-minute calls down in the description below. And in our next video tomorrow, we're going to be talking about a really, really cool concept, which is buying and selling with liquidity providing. A lot of people like this concept. A lot of people want to utilize this, especially to take advantage of the bull market coming up in the future. So stay tuned tomorrow for this really, really important lesson number 6 in liquidity providing, buying and selling an LP. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson on routing, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.